Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Nerd Chat here on Electro Ninja's Lab. I am here with my fellow host, Jack. You there? Oh, you muted. You got muted.
I'm
Whoopsie.
sorry, I'm Jack.
uh, we're having fun already. That's good. But yes, so today's nerd chat is a very special one because as we were prepping to get ready for nerd chat, I noticed that Skandar stuff has been released. So AF Stedman has posted a good number of or a good number of images because of the fact that the independent books are being printed and they are going out soon. Obviously, over in England, they are going to be releasing at the end of this month, and then here in America, they are going to be releasing at the start of next month. So, yeah, along with like 20 other books. Okay, not that many, but you get my point. There's a lot of books coming out this season in September, and I'm excited for a lot of them. But yeah, Skandar 5, it's coming, and I am ecstatic, as is Jack. We finally get to find out what happened. I'm really excited. So,
As am I.
there's so much to dissect here. So I think a few things to be aware of before we with all of this is that obviously uh, there are a lot of things on this map. Granted, some of them are things that you would not have seen in. Some of them are new things that we haven't seen before, and some of them are older things. And this map is way more detailed than like pretty much any map before. We had seen like previous images of the map, but this is this looks like it's going to be the final version of the map that is currently being printed and sent out to the books. So we thought we would dissect it and look at it, but we also have another image that we'll talk about in a little bit, and Jack will be reading that. But first off, let's look at the island. So a few locations that we're not really able to read. There is two locations up at the top that we can't really read and we can't really make out. We know that one of them is a fire zone thing, and the other one is a water zone thing. Based on that, I think we can probably look at the Chaos Trials um, to figure out what those might be, um, because one of them does appear to be in the same location as the lava bowl, and the other one appears to be in the same location as the Lake of Shoals, which we did get to see those in, like I said, in the Chaos Trials. And based on the fact that the Terrace Valleys is also here in the air zone, and the Sentient Trio, which is in the exact same location as the Restless Mountain, that leads me to believe that the Lava Bowl is most likely what the one in the Fire Zone is, and I think that's more than what we think. More than Lake of Shoals in the Water Zone. So we'll see. We'll see exactly what happens there.
That
Um,
would make sense.
yeah. I guess we'll start in the Water Zone then. Uh, we have the Floating Market, as well as the Ambling Archipelago, which we saw for the first time in the last book, I believe. Which is so obviously some new zones. So we don't have anything new per se in the Water Zone, except for what looks like there's something special with Lake of Shoal. Um, so yeah, we'll see what happens there. Um, then in the Fire Zone, as well as the Wilderness, we can see the Scrapland Tree. Scrapland Treehouse, which is where Kenna was during the fourth book. So that's cool. We also see the Desert Oasis, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, Then in the air zone, we see the terraced valleys. We can the prison is kind of more in 4 point, but I'll just mention that, as well as the secret swappers. But those are like right on the edge of 4 point, so that's why I'm including them. We then see the air yard, which I think that is the only one of the yards that we currently can see. I don't see I don't see the earth yard. I don't see the water yard. I don't see the fire yard. We do see the spirit yard being Twin Oaks, in 4 point, but yeah. So those two are the currently only yards that we are seeing. So that's kind of interesting. But what that's kind of leading me to believe is that we're going to be dealing with the air yard a lot. Whether that be that's where the main bad guys are hanging out or what, I have no idea. With Rex and all of them. We also see the Sky Forest, which we've seen for a while now. Then in the Earth Zone, there's really not that much. There is the Sentient Trio, which is really interesting because that is in the exact same location as the Restless Mountain, which leads me to believe that the Sentient Trio are 3 mountains that we didn't really know. We only knew about one of them, which is the Restless Mountain. The other 2 mountains are likely other things to do with that are similar to that, where there's like sentient earth creatures that are in there. We also see the Glowing Caves and Wildflower Hill. And then in 4 point, this is where everything really gets interesting. Obviously, the non-new locations is the Silver Stronghold, the arena, the Song School, the Secret Swappers, the prison, Twin Oaks, the graveyard, the Everheart Treehouse, Council Square, and I'm not 100% certain about the top tree. I think that might have been a location that we saw before. That might be the library, though. Yeah, that's the library quarter. My bad. So, we didn't see an image, I don't think, for the library quarter before. Do you remember us seeing Oh, no, we did. Yeah, that is the same one. So that's, okay. So that's the same image for the library quarter because we saw that in, Skeleton Curse. Okay. So, that's a lot, a lot of locations. And many of these locations we haven't been to in a while. So, yeah. But I think that the really fun thing is that the Eerie, they've changed it to the Rebel Eerie. I am way too excited about that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So a few things that I would like to make note of is that there are, like I said, there's a lot of locations. Pretty much. So from what I can see, the arena looks like it's not just the arena; it is also the Chaos compound. So we're probably going to be seeing stuff with that. Silver Stronghold pretty much just looks like it normally is. And the only reason I know that it's that is because of the fact that I know that that's what the image is, the Silver Stronghold. But because I can't read it. But yeah, so the rest of I think the most interesting things is like I said, the water zone that looks like a new location that's changing the location of the shoal. And the Sentient Trio being a different location. Those or slightly different. So those 2 locations are locations that we've been to in the past, and we're going to actually be doing really cool stuff with them, it looks like. And it looks like what I'm kind of wondering is like if this is something where they're trying to get different. Maybe they're trying to get certain things back. I don't know. The air yard, I'm assuming that is probably going to be mostly Rex's using that as basically his stronghold on top of the Silver Stronghold. I can't be certain for sure, but I think that that's a reasonable option.
That would make sense.
Obviously, the prison. We ended in the prison last time, so in Skeleton Curse. so that makes sense. The Song School and the Library Quarter are both allies. Um, the Secret Swappers. Obviously, Flo mentioned the Secret Swappers in Skeleton Curse, so I would not be surprised if that is probably going to be dealing a lot with it, and possibly um, one of the ways that she is going to communicate with the main crew. I'm not certain exactly, but it's definitely a possibility. Obviously, Twin Oaks, the Everheart Treehouse, the Graveyard, those are all really important locations for spirit wielders. Um, so, yeah. And I think it's important to note that the Wildflower Hill is on our map, because that leads me to believe that the Shikonis are probably still allies to Skandar and the crew. So, even if Flo is like kind of, it seems like she's betrayed them. I think that that is signifying that that her family at least is still on Skandar's side fully, um, which
Yeah.
is leading me to believe that hopefully Flo is still on Skandar's side. She's just, but she felt like this was the only option. Um, I think my main theory is that if they hadn't arrested Skandar, I think she was scared that if they hadn't arrested him, then Rex was going to kill him. I think that that is most likely what was happening. That she had heard from Rex that he was going to kill Skandar if he won. He would find some way to kill Skandar, um, rather than so by arresting him, it saved his life. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that's something along those lines, and it's basically trying to save Skandar's life. Um, because yeah, we'll see. We'll see what exactly happens. Um, there's too much with this. With so many locations, this is at least double the number of locations that we've ever seen in any of the Skandar books. So that leads me to think that we're going to be traveling a lot around the island. And seeing.
That would make sense as well, especially
Yeah.
since there's so many.
Yeah. Like, a few locations are always here. Obviously, the Mirror Cliffs, the beach, the hatchery, those are always there. The wilderness is always there. The Eyrie is always there. The arena is always there. But most of these other locations, we haven't seen them in some of these we haven't seen in a while. Some of them were in the recent books, but yeah. Obviously, one thing to be aware of is that this is not every single location. I'm not. There's not very many that are missing. Let me actually take a look at this really quick. So. Okay, so every single location from 4 is in there. I think every single location from 3 is in there. But I think that there's, like, some... yes. Every single location from 3 is in here. Is every location in here? I think that might be every location. And I did, I did say in a previous video that I would like to see a map that has everything. But
You did say that, and I think we got it.
I think we might have actually, yeah. Because 2, 2 has the, yep. Yeah, that's every location in 2. Which 2 had like the least location, so that makes some sense. And then is every location from 1 in here? Yeah. So every location is in here. So this is the entire map, which is insanity to think about. There's not a single location that has been missed out. So maybe well, we know that she watches that she's watched some of our nerd chats as well as our discussions on as well as my reviews of Skandar. So it's since I did say that in one of those videos that I would like to have a map with everything in it. I guess she listened.
Right? She was like, "Wish granted."
Thank you. AF Sedman, if you're watching this video, thank you. I'm really excited, and I hope that we do get to see every single one of these locations. But yeah, so of all the locations, there's not much new. I think is worth pointing out. There's only kind of three, kind of four locations that are new, but actually one. There's one new location fully, and that's the air yard. Everything else is something that has been in the previous book, in some degree. Like I said, the sentient trio, the the shoals, up in the water zone, and the Erie. Those are all locations that we have seen, but they've been expanded. The Rebel Erie, it's probably just the Erie. It's just got an extra thing. Um, Technically, the arena is smaller. They're not saying like everything that's in the arena, because I believe in, I want to say 3. They had some other things. Obviously, yeah. Okay, so a lot of them have said the arena and the chaos compound. And I think in 3, nope. Which one was it? I thought it was one of them. No. Okay, I'm wrong. I thought there was like one other location that they mentioned in a previous book, but it doesn't look like it is actually there, so that's okay. But yeah. So yeah, there's something else there, but I don't remember where. I think it's just the arena and the chaos compound. But like one of the locations is technically in there. But yeah, I love the map. It's so good. But now let's look at the back. This is likely not going to be in everyone's copy, and this might be the only time that we ever get to see this image. I hope that that's not the case. I hope that it comes over here to the States, because this is a really interesting image. So this is the first children, and from what we can gather, these are the children of the first rider, and each of them is specifically connected to one of the elements. Whether or not these are like his actual children or his adopted children, we don't know. But something to but yeah, Jack, why don't you go ahead and read them? Let's start with the spirit child.
All right, hang on. Here we go. It says, according to the stories, spirit allied Elwyn Penkelion was her father's favorite, clever, ambitious, and strong-willed. Many of the deeper mysteries of the island were discovered by the spirit child. Tales of Elwyn have inspired many spirit wielders to push their element to its magical limits.
Yeah. So, her father's favorite, which is a little bit concerning. That feels like that probably drove a wedge between between the others. But yeah, that's fun. And to be fair, spirit wielders have been like some of the most powerful, especially with like other elements, because they had to use they're not just they don't just use the spirit element, but they have to use some other element as well to be their most powerful. So that makes sense. I guess so. Elwyn. But yes, next, Earthchild Arthur.
It says, the history books are as kind to Arthur Penkelion as he was to others during his lifetime. Dependable, generous, and creative, the Earth-allied child of the first writer has long been recognized for making advances in elemental healing, as well as his benevolent attitude to mainland relations, never forgetting its father's roots.
Yeah. So, I think that's really telling when it comes to, especially with the element healing, because Wildflower Hill is in the Earth Zone. And with that, it kind of tells us that that might be the reason why why healers appear to be in the Earth Zone. Um, at least that seems to be based on the Wildflower Hill, because that's where a lot of them are being trained on Wildflower Hill. So yeah, some interesting details there. Taran, the air child.
By all accounts, Pankalian was a show-off. Rumors say that the air wielder never attended anything on time, but his late arrival was often accompanied by an entire electrical storm. Terran loved a party, and is believed to be the mastermind behind the elemental festivals.
I mean, there with that, it just feels like there's so much connection to him and Bobby. Um,
Right.
like Bobby is usually on time. She's like one of the most on time people, but she's also very showy and very much wanting to make sure that things and yeah, and loves the festivals. So yeah, that's fun. All right, should we go for the water child or the fire child next?
I'm gonna try to read the Water Child.
Okay, Petrock.
If the bards are to be believed, Patrock Pankalian shared his father's love for the sea. Water-allied Petrock liked to sail around the island, his unicorn soaring above the boat. He loved animals too, and recorded many details about both mainland and island creatures that are still used for elemental predator textbooks today.
Interesting. So yeah, there's since we don't really know too much about water wielders in general, I think this is the most that we're seeing about them. Um, but it does make sense that that he liked to sail. Um, and it kind of yeah, I kind of wish that there was more from water wielders that we could see. Um, but we know that Bobby's sister Isabel is a water wielder, right?
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously we haven't seen too much from her, but kind of an interesting detail. All right, Karen's the fire child, the last of the five children.
There are many songs about fire-allied Corinza Pencalian. Many of them focus on her beauty and her tragic love story, but others tell of her unruly power. As a child, her strong fire magic and bad temper led to wildfires and destruction across the island. Of all her siblings, Corinza rebelled the most against her role in the founding family.
Rebels, huh? I mean, yeah, that makes sense. So obviously, she being a rebel, like that is very interesting, especially when it comes to like temperament, fire. That makes sense. I think it's interesting though, with that specifically, because Mitchell is our main fire wielder in the books. He doesn't usually have like he can have a bad temper for sure, but for the most part, when we see him, he's pretty calm, all that jazz. But he does rebel against his family, um, specifically against his father for being such a dingus. Um, but yeah, that's exciting. That's really exciting to see like each of them. And like looking at them specifically compared to our main cast, like Elowin comparing to Skandar, he is very powerful, but he's obviously for someone who had to practically teach himself, he's extremely powerful. He didn't really get much aid when it came to like sure he got a little bit from his other teachers, from some of his teachers, but comparatively he didn't have the aid like the rest of the cast did. Earth, I think, is the main thing with Earth is that obviously the Shakonis are in the Earth zone, and with the healing, that's makes a lot of sense, especially that because from what we gather, there's probably more healers than Wildflower Hill, but Wildflower Hill is one of the main ones that is teaching healers. So yeah, that's fun. And then obviously air, parties, Bobby makes sense. Water is just kind of like interesting. Um, there's not much that we I think he because of the fact that he's yeah, I don't know. My theory with him is that he might be I don't know. I feel like we're gonna see more from him before too long. Like more about the water wielders. Um, but I also think it's kind of interesting that he appears to be more separated, which is weird because Karenza is the one that really from the text seems separated, but from the images, Petrock seems the most separated. Um, from the family, which is kind of an odd thing to say. I don't know, but I yeah. Um, I think for sure we're gonna hear about these five children, throughout the book. This is probably like the basic information that is gonna be really helpful. And probably a lot of this isn't gonna be like fully talked about in the book, but I feel like we're going to see something from these guys, whether it be like from history books or what. Um, maybe they will be um, maybe they will be spirit. Maybe they're gonna be spirits or whatever, and we're gonna see them like we see their father. I'm not certain. Like I said, I don't know if they aren't necessarily his biological children or his adopted children. That's one thing that I would like to know more about. For sure, because
That's fair.
as far as we're aware, they just label them as his children. They don't label them as these are specifically his biological children, or they're his adopted children. They just say children. And from what we've heard about him in the past is that he did travel a lot to find the new children who would become the riders of the unicorns. So I wouldn't be surprised if these are actually his adopted children. And we do know that they are the first riders of from what we can gather, they are the first regularly bonded riders. They aren't through any other means. They aren't natural or from what I'm gathering, these were the ones that actually had their hands pierced at with the eggs with the eggs hatching. Obviously, certain there were other riders, I think, from based off of what we've heard about them in the other books. Probably before these first five children, who did not have their hands pierced by the riders, but were actually mended by the first rider, um, because those unicorns already hatched and were just wild on the island. Um, so yeah, we'll see exactly what happens, but I'm guessing that these are the first children who had their hands pierced. I also think it's really interesting that we only really see their hairstyle. That's the only defining feature about them. Um, so yeah, I think for the two girls, we can kind of see like Karen's has like kind of wild hair, while Elowen has like this long, silky, uh, kind of flowy hair. So I think that those are those are the really interesting ones. I have a feeling that there was a lot of conflict between those two, especially considering the fact that Elowen was the favorite, while Karenza was the rebel of the family. And it seems like the boys, they all have pretty similar hairstyles. Like Arthur has like a bit longer. Um, Tarn has probably the shortest, and then Petrock seems to be somewhere in the middle, And because of the fact that it's just shades, we can't really see exactly what their hairstyles are like. Um, but I do find it kind of interesting from what we can see, since Taran is the one who's the heir child, he has the shortest hair. That seems like something that he would be like very much wanting to make sure that his hair is as close to his head as possible to basically allow him to be streamlined. That's kind of what that makes me think of. Um, uh, Petrock, it could be very sleeked, is what from what I'm seeing, which would make sense if he's like constantly dealing with water. Obviously, his hair is gonna get wet and be smoothed out. And then Arthur, since he's like on, probably mostly on the ground dealing with like healing people and all that jazz, he's able to grow his hair out longer than the other two boys. Um, which I find I don't know. I find it interesting to say the least. Um, but yeah. If you guys do want to check out each of these images for yourselves, AF Stedman did post these to her Facebook and I think her Instagram as well. So if you want to check those out, I would absolutely recommend doing that. She posted a lot of images. So most of them are of the books closed and junk like that. But yeah, we haven't seen anything else really in terms of making sure that the images are very clear or yeah. And the image that we have of the map, that specifically came from her Instagram, I believe. So, yeah. And she posted different images to different locations. So, definitely something to be thinking about. But, yeah. I don't know. It's exciting to think about, like, what exactly are they gonna is she gonna do with Skandar 5? And Rex, like, is Rex gonna be like a really big bad guy? Um, I do think the Kenna chapters might be cut, because of the fact that she is gonna be with Skandar the entire time, but I'm not certain. I'm not gonna say that for sure because obviously I said that about I think both 3 and 4. I said that her chapters were going to be cut, and they clearly were not. So I don't know. We might still see Kenna. I think that there's also the possibility that we will see it from Flo's perspective, because Flo is now in. She's separated from the rest of the group. Maybe it could be Rex because he's the main villain right now. I don't really want Rex to be humanized though. He is just a complete jackass, and I want him to be. I want to see him destroyed. With yeah, fully just destroy him, please. He's an asshole.
Kill the fucker.
Kill the fucker. He's an asshole. I do think that we will be seeing a lot of riders actually. And I think that there's a good possibility that we will be going to the mainland at some point. I would also, I'm not certain exactly how that's going to play out, but I could kind of imagine that happening. Whether that be at the end, where Skandar has basically will go grab like he'll find like every single rider, or he's going to start looking for the riders that were that missed out on their last chance. So, yeah, I'm not sure. And a lot of spirit riders as well. We know that a lot of spirit riders are currently on the island, which may be freaking. That might be Rex's downfall because of the fact that he captured all of those spirit riders that had that we're going to get wild unicorns in 3. We might each of them might be actually getting their destined unicorns. Do we know how many there were? I think it was just however many eggs there were. I could be wrong. How many? I don't even remember. One sec. Let me see if I can open up the.
I don't remember either.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I will say this: I am planning on rereading the entire Skandar series, in preparation for this book. In preparation for Skandar 5. So, yeah. I don't know if I'm hoping I'll be able to finish them all relatively quickly, especially because I love these books. But yeah, if you want to check out, I would recommend rereading them before this happens, if you can, because there's a lot of one thing that is very important about the Skandar books, and I've realized this from rereading Skandar every time that I've reread the books. I notice new things that were heavily hinting towards the future books. For example, in Skandar 1, she set up so much that you don't even really think about, such as the massive eerie tree, the entrance tree, being that of specifically showing that it has every single element. All 5 elements are somewhere on the tree. And yet we don't know about that. We don't know that we don't really get too much in terms of that until the end of the book, when they go to the graveyard and you start to realize, oh, yeah, the leaves on the trees represent each element. Boom. There's the thing, and you don't really think about it until the very end of the book, until the end of Phantom Rider, when you actually they finally get to the Mirror Cliffs and realize, oh, that's the tree. That is actually the tree, and she set up all this stuff years in advance. I'm certain that there's going to be some things that we're going to be looking back at, and well, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna reread the books now, but I also plan on rereading every single one once I've finished 5, because I'm certain that there's going to be things that I'm gonna realize that I missed somewhere in Skandar, somewhere in the books, that that no one really realized was gonna be important until later. So yeah, you still have time. If you guys are, if you do, no matter where you are in the world, if you are planning to get Skandar 5, reread the Skandar 4, the first 4 books. Obviously, it can take a while, but if you're going to be listening to the audiobooks, that takes about, those are each about 20, less than 24 hours. I think they're 14 hours, actually, each, give or take. So, yeah. I would absolutely recommend reading them and learn more about these different locations that we're going to be visiting, and really, really pay attention to each of the locations and try to figure out what exactly are they going to be talking about in the when we actually get there. Are they going to be important? Are they not going to be important? Is the especially the Terrace Valleys, that is just a racing location. We never really got to see what the heck is going on there in the 3rd book, because it was just a race. So there's a good chance that there's actually going to be a lot more happening there in this book. Same thing goes for a lot of these other locations.
This is true.
Yeah. We're probably going to see a lot more from the Wanderers. What are they called again?
Yeah, oh god. I think they are the Wanderers. No, what are they called? They're
It was some special name. Dang it! Why can't I remember what they were called? It might just be Wanderers. Yeah, they are the Wanderers. Okay, so yeah, we'll probably see a lot more from the Wanderers, especially because of the fact that we're seeing each of their bases of operation. Because yeah, they Water Zone, Ambling Archipelago, Fire Zone, the Desert Oasis, Air Zone, Sky Forest, uh, Earth Zone, the Glowing Caves. Those are each of their locations. We might see something from the involving the stones, which we didn't get to. We didn't really see too much of that in Skeleton Curse, but I have a feeling that they're going to be really important for Spirit War. Maybe Skandar is going to get all 5 and like fuel them with the different elements to be able to fight Rex one-on-one, which he's going to have all of them while because of the fact that Rex hates the spirit element, he's not going to have the spirit crystal. And yeah, we'll see what happens. And yeah, I don't know, maybe he will actually use it. Another thing, do you think that we're gonna see a Silver Spirit Rider?
Because, I hope so.
I really hope so, because otherwise, why the fuck would you set that up in Skeleton Curse? Like, that's insane. Whether or not that's like a wild spirit rider, or a wild spirit unicorn that joins the forces, and then they find out that it's a silver, or which Dapple Gray, huh? I wonder, because the like obviously Dapple Gray is not silver, but I'm just like thinking about that, and like that's kind of similar to silver, and that's obviously Kenna's unicorn. So what if Kenna ends up actually riding a silver? Like we said, silver lining for the Dapple Gray, like all those years ago. What if she actually does that? Like she saw that image. She actually did see that image. So I will say that. In fact, I'm actually gonna go look at that really quick. I hate that I have to look at Twitter for this, but let's see here. So firstly, in okay, so that's fine. Did she? No, that's fine. When did you share? When did we do that? When did you do that? That was a while ago. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, that was a while ago.
Yeah, so that was in. Oh, that was just a year ago. I thought that was way sooner. So what did she say? Yeah. So we said, Jack got inspired during the Nerd Chat recording, release 623, and drew his interpretation of the Dapple Gray unicorn, healed in A.F. Stedman's Skandar series. He calls him Silver Lining. And she said, "This is awesome." Someone
Maybe
actually,
she just likes fan art.
huh? She does like fan art. We have seen that a lot. But that would be really interesting if she read that and was like, "Huh, let's see what happens." Someone actually said to her, "Ooh, I hope this is a potential spoiler for book 4." What if it was actually a spoiler for book 5? Oh my gosh! But yeah, that would be really interesting. But yeah, so that was the that thing. She has responded to a lot of our different books. to a lot of the different posts that I've made over the years. Um, which is just so much fun. Um, but yeah, and I don't know. It's hard to say for sure. Because yeah, there's a lot of different things with that. Um, because obviously that's been years and years ago. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. Um, yeah, I can't. Not too much. Those were like the really big ones. Where she responded. Um, and while I would like to see something in the future, I also understand that it's probably going to be a while before we actually see. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. It'd be really interesting because we've been talking about Skandar since it came out, and um, I don't know. It's just it's fun. It's fun to look at Skandar, at everything going on with Skandar, and wonder what is going to happen in the coming years. Um, because yeah, with Skandar 5, the series is going to be over, which is really sad to think about, but I really hope that it's a good ending. She is going to continue writing. We've talked about this in the past. She is working on another series, and we might talk about that, but because it's an adult series, is what she said. Um, I don't think that we're going to necessarily. We may not necessarily talk about that. Because while we will probably read it because we want to support A.F. Stedman, it may not necessarily be something that will necessarily work on the channel. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Because yeah, I do want to get the book at least just so that I can say, hey, I got it. I'm supporting you. Please keep writing. We love your books, A.F. Stedman. It may not necessarily be our cup of tea, especially since we love Skandar. We've read every single book, and we will probably, like I said, once this comes out, we will probably have it, and we will read it the day it comes out here in America, which is gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be tricky, but yeah, I'm so ready for Skandar 5. And yeah, I don't know. There's so much with this, and I hope they do more. I really do. I kind of am hoping that they're going to do something with the like something on the mainland. I don't know what they're going to do with the mainland, but I also think Skandar and Kenna's dad. I think he's a lost writer. I don't think I don't know for sure if he's a spirit rider or what. We just know that that their mom was a spirit rider. So it's possible that he was never a rider. But I wonder if he was actually meant to be a rider. I don't think that it's going to be easy for for Skandar to mend him, because they did say that it's easier to mend people who are relatively recently lost their unicorn comparatively. So, yeah. But I think it's also insane though, because we haven't actually seen Skandar mend any unicorns yet. We know he is a mender, thanks to all of the information, but we've yet to actually see him mend anybody. So, yeah. So this is going to be the first book where he's going to mend people, because there's no way that he is not mending people for a frickin' unicorn war called the Spirit War.
I mean, valid.
Like, There's no other spirit riders at this point in time. He is the only one. There's no way in hell that a spirit like if it had just been called the Unicorn War, then maybe he wouldn't actually be mending anybody. Maybe people were just going to ally themselves to him, and he was going to like maybe he would mend people at the end of the story. But in this, but because of the fact that it's specifically called the Spirit War, that is leading me to believe that he is going to mend as many people as possible. Starting with Kenna and Tyler, was that his name? The other guy, the kid.
Yeah, I think so.
Goshawk's intended writer. So, yeah. I will say this as well about Skandar 5. There will be more nerd chats about Skandar 5. Whether or not that's going to be like... I think we should do one more before the book comes out. Although this is pretty much going over everything that we think is happening. I'd personally like to do at least one more about that. But for sure, we're going to do one after Skandar 5 comes out, and we are going to talk about it. We are going to review it. We are going to say everything that comes to fucking mind. But yeah, I'm ecstatic. I cannot wait to see what happens. And another thing is that I would like to see something along the lines of, yeah, did you really think that there was only the island here near England? And there ends up being like some heavily hinted things that there are maybe there's unicorns or other magical creatures all over the world, and this is just the one specifically around England. That would be.
I can see that.
That would be freaking fantastic. And it's like like maybe she's not necessarily planning to do much with that, but maybe we'll see something in the future, because this is her first series with Skandar, and then she's obviously writing her next book, Timeless, which will be coming out next year. So are they going to be in the same universe? We don't know. Are we going to see more from like the rest of this universe? I certainly hope so, and I also hope that Skandar is somehow going to appear in the future series. Especially because I want to know what happens years and years into the future. Whether or not they do that whether they do that at the end of this, where there's like a flash forward years into the future where he and Flo have kids, and they're getting ready to go off on their first adventure, or what, I don't know. But I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to see what they're going to do with Skandar. But anyways, guys, that is probably where a good spot for us to call it for today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's nerd chat, and we'll look forward to seeing more as years come. Well, yeah, and we will continue talking about Skandar. We will probably, yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyways, guys, I have been Electro Ninja, he's been Jack, and we will see you guys next time. But on